did with Win Butler for that Oscar. I can't remember his name, but you need to listen to all these sort of post-rock things that are happening out there right now, which often involve, big, long cinematic arrangements, but using guitars.
So for everyone that's been listening today, Andy has given us some amazing insight, firsthand insight about the film business. And again, Andy is a wealth of information. For those of you who are out there in the audience, if you're really serious about pursuing this as a career option, please make sure you start with grabbing Andy's latest book, Scoring the Screen. And again, that's Andrew Hill, Scoring the Screen. Andy, real quick, will you just take us into what one can expect by grabbing your book?
Yeah, I think I can do that. I should say that the subtitle is The Secret Language of Film Music. And, and it's been that since the very beginning. And it's the kind of title you choose with some caution, because if you can't pay that off and actually reveal some sort of secret, then it's just hype.
Exactly.
But I did feel like in the course of researching this book, I had discovered some things that had never been widely discussed or spoken of or acknowledged, that really do offer film composers starting out their careers a leg up in terms of understanding the vocabulary of musical emotion. How do you make people feel certain things? People talk about getting goosebumps in films when they hear a certain piece of music. What causes that? How do you try and make that happen through musical language? So people coming into this business, whether they've had training or not, or formal training or not, they're all innocents. They're all naives. They really don't know yet how the music they write is going to affect an audience. And it's a powerful thing, man. If you write the wrong piece of music, you know it right away, and it sucks. If you write the right piece of music, it's amazing. All of a sudden, you feel like you've changed these people's lives because of the way they respond. And so I do think that there is stuff in this book, and it's the first time, why, I can't tell you, that a book on the shelves, along with other books about film music, is just about the music. The music is in there. I took the scores that I felt were game changers in many ways, that the composer had really charted new ground, by which I mean not just that it's cool stuff, not just that it's musically interesting, but that it changed what movies could say and how they could make people feel. And movies like To Kill a Mockingbird, movies like The Matrix, movies like How to Train Your Dragon, they come from all different genres, but they all have this quality that they really, really affected audiences very deeply. And so if you want to understand how that happened and why it happened and the choices the composer made that made it possible for that to happen, I tried very, very hard to make that as clear as it can be made in this book. Now, that does not mean that it's a paint-by-numbers how-to kind of book. As far as I know, Walter, that book hasn't been written and probably never will be, because there's this other thing involved, picture, when you're writing music for a movie.
Sure, yeah.
You can't really put that in a book. You can't say, if two people are about to kiss, do this. You can make certain generalizations, but I think the best way to teach that stuff is to show students and aspiring composers examples of where it's really been done right. And let them see how that works. And by the way, the book, very quickly, it's all indexed. It's all set up so that essentially You can take the book, put it on a book stand, I recommend, or some flat surface so that you can open it up. You can rent the film and put the film up on your computer screen, or if you have two computer screens, put it on one and put your digital audio workstation at the other. You can follow the examples in the book. All of them are indexed to timings in the film. So you can find the exact scene. You can find the passage of music that I've reduced or excerpted in the film, and these are all drawn from the composer's original score, every single one, and every single one where the composer was living, the composer approved the excerpts and the reductions made. I made sure that they looked at everything so that if I've gotten any of the dynamic markings or accents or any of the notes certainly wrong, they would tell me so. They didn't have control over editorial content, so if I thought they made a mistake, I said so. This is not a puff piece. It's not written just to make the composers look good, although I think most of them come off looking pretty good, because I chose scores that I thought were really extraordinary.
Wow. And
it'll be coming out as an ebook later this year, also through Hal Leonard. And for both formats, whatever they are, the one for Apple and the one for Amazon. But I'm very excited about the reaction that I'm getting, and from the sense that it has made a genuine difference. That composers who didn't understand something before they read the book now do understand it, and that makes me feel very good.
Yeah, that's amazing. And again, I can't tell you how thankful and appreciative that we are for you coming onto the show today. You have literally provided a wealth of knowledge, and the knowledge goes a lot further in the book, Scoring the Screen. You just heard it firsthand from a man who has lived in this industry and knows the ins and outs. Check this book out if you're serious about moving your career in this direction. Again, we have been with Andrew Hill, the author of Scoring the Screen. Andrew, thank you so much. And before we let you go, because we know your time is valuable, how can we follow you online?
First of all, I should say, although my given name is Andrew, nobody in this business knows me as anything other than Andy, so that's just fine. And secondly, there is a website. Got to have those these days. And for those who don't like to buy a pig in a poke and want to learn a little bit about the book and maybe see a couple of the excerpts, you can go to scoringthescreen.com. It's the name of the book.com. And you'll see excerpts from the book. You'll see descriptions of exactly what's in there. You'll see some testimonials from some names I'm sure they'll recognize. But my two favorite new parts of the website are that there's a blog on there where I interview current composers, like Daniel Hart, the guy who just scored that movie with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, A Ghost Story, was interviewed recently on there. Jeff and Michael Dana, who are doing tremendous amount of work out there. Michael Dana, of course, on Life of Pi. And there are lots of hints in those interviews, too, about
Awesome.
how to get started and how not to get started in this business. Yeah. And there's also a coaching service available through the website that I offer online for people who are already out there, but don't have an agent yet and are looking to sort of refine their presentation to the industry.
Sure. Yeah, and that seems like an amazing resource. Again, guys, we highly recommend that you take them up on it. You heard the knowledge firsthand. Again, we've been with Andy Hill, the author of Scoring the Screen. Make sure that you check out the book, and we will also put in some links on our website and in the podcast episode notes here so that you guys can find the book and check out everything that Andy has brought to us today. Andy, thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome. It's been a great pleasure, Walter, and I hope we can do it again.
All right, swim team, you've heard some information today that goes well beyond the norm. I mean, you're getting inside information from a guy who has lived in Hollywood and has worked with some of the biggest names in the business. You can get his knowledge by simply grabbing his book. Check out the links in the show notes area for Andy's info. He's an amazing guy. Yo, as you can tell, we have some serious knowledge on this show, so please share this episode with all of your music friends out there. Hey, make sure you give us a review on iTunes and get with us on the next show. Make sure you subscribe.
$10 of gas won't fill the tank. No, this just gets old. I know there's gotta be a better way for me in this life. That is my dream. Here's to a